What's up, everybody? What is the true direction of the Washington Wizards now under the new front office? We're going to talk about that, a little bit about RJ Hampton, and a preview for tomorrow's night game at home against the Orlando Magic. Rock with us night next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Scott again with my guy, the real Ed Oliver. And we appreciate you guys making Locked On Wizards your first listen every single day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. So today we're going to talk about what is the true direction of the Washington Wizards going forward under the new regime. And RJ Hampton, should he be considered he's playing time with the Wizards, man, because he is looking good with the go-go. And we're going to do a preview for the Orlando Magic for tomorrow night. So let's get into it. So we're reacting to, there was an article on The Athletic, but there was also an interview with Lou Williams, Lemon Pepper Lou himself, where he said, quote unquote, if Kyle Kuzma is one of your best players on the team, you're going to have to blow it up, man. And it goes on to say that you've been getting your butt kicked all year long. Like, what's funny? And he kind of responded to, I guess I'm trying to look at it right quick. He kind of responded to the comment that Kyle Kuzma made that not to be that team, talking about the Detroit Pistons, and now it appears we are that team. So, there's a lot of factors looking at this, man, because obviously right now the new front office is getting a little heat right now, and because, a lot of, I guess, mistakes, and, whether drafting, the lack of trading. So is it too soon to judge this front office, or are you willing to give them more time?
It's a good question, man. I see a lot of people who are getting impatient with the front office because, of the season, the way it's gone. Not just that, maybe because of some of the inactivity that they made or how some things have turned out. But I think some of the things that we can look at that some people are upset about is just them not trading Tyus Jones, them keeping him instead of trading for the second round picks, kind of just overvaluing him. And now they got to keep him in the offseason. Maybe they should have traded him. The whole unofficial no trade clause with Kyle Kuzma, letting him decide whether he wanted to be traded to the Dallas Mavericks or not. I think a lot of people are dinging the front office for that. One thing that I was disappointed in is them not taking GG Jackson. That's one thing that I didn't like. And I do like Vucevic a lot. But looking at what GG Jackson has done for the Grizzlies right now, I think he's just been a super impactful player. He's had some really big games so far, and I think the Wizards definitely could have used him. I think he would have helped in the rebuild as well, just hitting on that second. We have so many second-round picks. It's just like a talent like that with GG Jackson was kind of just staring you in the face. They did trade that 35th pick of the draft. They traded that to the Bulls. And maybe they could have taken GG with that pick and just kept it. But I know it was something about the whole roster. They had too many guys on the roster. Then you look at them trading the 57th pick to the Warriors. And I want to say Ryan Rollins was involved in that trade. And I might be wrong about that, but he's no longer on the roster. You look at Tracy Jackson Davis. He's playing really, really well for the Warriors right now, and he's a big man. I know he's an old school big, but he's playing well. He's rebounding the ball well, scoring, finishing above the rim, alley-oop dunks, all kinds of stuff like that. The Wizards could have used a player like that. So that's something right there. I like Bilal a lot, but being objective, of course, Cam Whitmore has been the better player so far. And it's not just the Wizards. You look at the Jazz, the Mavericks, the Magic, the Thunder, the Mavericks, Raptors, Pelicans, all those teams passed up on Cam Whitmore, and I think that's a guy that other teams would be looking at years down the road and be like, man, like, why did he drop so far? Them keeping Wes Unseld Jr., was that Ted Leonce's decision? They ended up transitioning him, a.k.a. firing, a.k.a. transitioning him. There's a couple of things. The whole Jordan Poole saga, should he have been benched earlier, or put in the 6-man role earlier than what he has been? Is that something on them, the front office and the coaching staff? So there are a couple of things to look at so far. Porzingis, excuse me, that kind of trade where the Celtics ended up with a couple first-round picks. The Wizards end up with Tyus, which is not the best return in the world, but I get it. You know, Porzingis kind of the whole player option thing. He opted in. He could have just left for nothing. So their hands were tied from Tommy Shepard. So I do get some of the things that people are upset with, but the biggest thing to me is not taking G.G. Jackson. I know it's a second-round pick. And then Cam Whitmore may be something that we look at down the line. But like I said, I'm happy with Bilal, but I think that's something that you take a look at a little bit there. So those are some of the things that kind of have – that I look at. But I think it's still too early. The Marvin Bagley trade was really good. Getting rid of Muscala and Gallo to get 2 second-round picks back and Marvin Bagley. Gafford, trading him to the Mavericks right now. Gafford's not even playing, which is ridiculous. I don't know why they're not even playing Gafford. At first they were. Now he's not even playing. And then it's the Clippers pick. And not too long ago, it was the 24th pick, so it might move up. You know, you just never know. I don't think it will move up any more than the 23rd or 22nd. But if they can fool around and get Khalil Ware from Indiana at like the 22nd pick or something like that, or the young man out of UConn, I got to look up his name, who's super athletic. So, yeah, I mean, they've done some good things, but it's still too early. They haven't even been here for a year yet. So I'm not going to ding these guys too much. It's only been less than a season, you know, so got to give them the benefit of the doubt. Oh, Brad, I think you're on mute.
See, I was getting all excited, man. Like, yeah, you're talking about Stephon Castle out of UConn, man. Yeah, he's nice, man.
Right.
I'm with you. I do think it's too early to judge them. I'm definitely willing to give them 3 years till I actually judge them and decide whether they are an improvement over Tommy Shepard or worse than we. But I'll say this: there are good moments and there are very frustrating moments with this front office. And I'm say why. Obviously, with the Bradley Beal trade, we had no leverage. Tommy Shepard waited forever to trade him. He never did, even though he had package after package that clearly could have helped his team long term. And the Supermax contract, the list goes on. We had zero leverage. So you kind of get what you get with Bradley Beal. So I feel like they got what they could for the Bradley Beal trade. I had no complaints there. You know, KP kind of the same. You got Tyus. Tyus has played really good basketball in DC. So I'm not really down on that because, I mean, KP was going to turn around and be a free agent anyway. So not really tripping on that. Like you said, the Marvin Bagley move was a genius move because you traded 2 guys who were going to get waived anyways, and you were able to get draft capital and a young guy who, man, looks like he's revitalized his career in DC, man. Marvin Bagley's playing really good basketball in DC, man. So my biggest things are this, man. I'm going to start with Kyle Kuzma. I've made it known on this platform and many other platforms, man, that I am a big fan of Kyle Kuzma. But, you know, very often than not in today's society, man, if you criticize somebody, all of a sudden you don't like them. And it's not true. I mean, the thing is this. He's not a number one option. When they decided to consult him before a trade to Dallas, that has to be one of the most mind-numbing things I've ever seen in my life because he's not a top-tier player. He's not a player that you consult. I mean, look, I understand that in the realm of negotiations, you always aim high and you meet in the middle. But they stood pat with 2 first-round picks. What world are we living in where Kyle Kuzma is worth 2 first-round picks? I mean, the Dallas move now, I don't know. And, you know, I probably would have sent Kyle Kuzma and Gaff for those 2 first-round picks because you remember they sent a first-round pick to Charlotte for P.J. Washington, and, you know, they needed a forward. So, you know, Kyle Kuzma, I would have took those 2 first-round picks and sent Daniel Gafford and Kyle Kuzma on their way, even though I'm a big Daniel Gafford fan, and it's really tough watching them lead, man. But, I mean, you consulted him for what? Trade him. Yeah, I mean, he's not that level of a player. He's just not. He's not a top-tier player. How many times have you been at an All-Star game? 0. He's got 0 All-Star appearances. What are we talking about, man? Like, and in the same thing, like, it brings you back to Bradley Beal, where it's like, at least Bradley Beal had All-Star appearances, man. Like, you're giving way too much power to a guy who's just, I mean, and I don't want to harp on Kyle Kuzma, but let's be real. In the trade coming from LA, he was a throw-in. He was a throw-in. I mean, you know, he was a third option, or he was a third or fourth option in LA. I mean, it's just, why are we giving so much power to a guy who, I mean, you know, I get, you know, from a perspective of Kyle Kuzma, I get it. You know, he wanted his own team. He's got the championship ring. So you wanted to have the opportunity to be who he is as a player. But here's the thing, man. We're rebuilding. We're trying to rebuild here. You can't be the number one emphasis, man. You got to find a way to develop these guys. And here's the thing with Denny and his emergence. Look, Denny to me can take his spot easy. Next year, you need to move, in my opinion, because you need to blow it up. We halfway blew it up. I mean, that's where I'm at. It's just to me that was a mistake because I don't understand what do we need to talk about here. So a lot of people I already know. I'm gonna go ahead and nip it in the bud before I even get criticized, which is, we need leadership. Udonis Haslem barely played the later half of his career, and he was one of the best bench leaders probably in the history of the NBA. His impact on the Miami Heat and their culture, did he play? No, but he was a leader. You can have veteran leadership and not have him be a number one focal point. Denny has proven he can be the number one focal point. He has taken that breakout campaign, and next year he needs to be the guy, in my opinion. And then you need to put Bilal in that lineup and see what you can do. But we need to go ahead and go young, man. I mean, we need to stop it. We need to stop it because we're middle building again. I mean, Tyus, I get it, but that was a good move. But then you don't trade him. I mean, 4 second rounders, you don't move him. Let's be 100 about this. He wasn't worth a first round pick. Like, you have to lower down expectations. 2 first round picks for Kyle Kuzma. Look, he's not Pascal Siakam, man. He's just not. I mean, he does not command that. So it's just, to me, that was the wrong message, man. Trying to keep, I get veteran leadership, and I agree with everybody, man. Veteran leadership is very, very important, but it should not come at the expense of young guys, man. And you have this young core you have in Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma. Oh no, Lord have mercy, Corey Kispert, Denny Avdia, and Bilal Coulibaly, man. They are a heck of a foundation. I'm trying to tell you right now, because Denny has finally broken out. Corey Kispert, we don't put enough respect in his name because he's definitely taking a step up. Bilal, he is just oozing with potential. And Jordan Poole, look, I mean, I know people are arguing me, man, but the best move they made with Jordan Poole was bringing him off the bench. I mean, you have a nice young foundation. It's time to move on. I'm not going to judge his front office, man. I have all the faith in the world in them, man. I'm definitely going to give them 2 more years before I even come close to criticizing them. But, enough's enough with the middle build. Enough's enough. You hear it more around the league that people are questioning, what really is your ceiling as Kyle Kuzma is your number one option? What's your ceiling? And I said it before, if Kyle Kuzma is your best player, you're not winning anything. You're not winning anything but the lottery. You're not winning anything because he's not a number one option on the championship team. And I don't know how much we try to wish upon a star that he will be. He's not going to be, man. So, yeah, they need to figure it out. They need to go ahead and finally rebuild, man, because, look, 2 first rounders in this draft coming up, and then we have every reason to be terrible for the next 2 drafts after that because Cooper Flagg coming up, Carlos Boozer's son's coming up, man, and we have the opportunity to build a young team. So enough's enough. You have a guy in Denny Avdia who has proven, look, last night, the Jazz game, he's not hesitant to shoot those shots anymore, man. He's got that mentality now. He's ready to take that step as a scorer in this league. Give him the keys. That's all I'm saying right now. Give him the keys. Let him be that number one option, in my opinion. So, yeah, I'm with you. I definitely believe it's too early, but, things need to change, man, because I'm not a fan of middle build. So, before we move on, man, because we're going to talk about RJ Hampton, man, and whether he should get a look for the Washington Wizards, man. But before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. And passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. Because with over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with an eBay guaranteed fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guarantee fit only available to U.S. customers. And Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. And now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV and the Free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts at Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today, now available on the Free Fire TV channels app. So, RJ Hampton has been rocking with the Go-Go, man. And I'm going to go ahead and pull up the stats from the last game with the Go-Go. Bear with me for a second. And he just scored 30 points, 9 for 11 from the floor, 4 for 5 from deep. So looking at the fact that former high pick, lottery pick, man, he's proven he can play in this league. Do you think it's time to give him an opportunity with the Wizards?
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Now, one thing I will say about the middle build and the rebuild thing, they are doing the right thing as far as getting draft capital. They're going to have the first or second pick in the draft. So as far as the tanking part and the losing part, they have certainly picked a direction. It's not like when we had Brad and Porzingis and Kuz and they called it a big three when it really wasn't. It was a solid three at the time. And Kuzma, I don't know. We don't know what the deal was. So that may be the reason why they gave him an option to choose. I still would not have given him an option whether I like the deal or not. But the Wizards organization they still have guys that are kind of being player friendly, which is fine. You know, we want to have GMs that are nice and player friendly, but at the end of the day, it is a business. And, you know, the last regime with Tommy, they just gave everything to Bradley Beal. We don't want to see that happening with Kyle Kuzma. Nice guy, nice player and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But to give him an unofficial no trade clause where they're like, hey, is this where you want to go? Or basically you can decline this trade or not. I think that's something that they should not be doing. Excuse me. Doing with Kuzma. But like I said, maybe they did it only because they didn't like it. If it was 2 first-round picks, then, you know, you can't show a player that. You can't just be like, oh, yeah, do you want to go here or not? You have to immediately hop on that trade and take that trade. Now they do, like you said, they have to lower their expectations. Tyus, they should have just taken what they could get because you're not going to get a first round pick. People know who Tyus. People have seen Tyus the last 6-7 years. He's not going to change his game. He is who he is. I think he's actually peaking and basically reaching the ceiling here. I mean, he's doing some stuff that he never did with the Grizzlies, like having a triple double, 17 assists. And teams still see that, and they still are not like, no, I'm still not going to give you a first-round pick for Tyus. I'm still not doing that. He's still better as he's a great backup, solid starter. So they have to lower their expectations for these guys, take what they can get. And the draft is going to be huge for these guys. It's going to be huge. Hitting on the draft, like you said, Alex Sarr, or a couple years from now, Cooper Flagg, Carlos Boozer's son. There's a lot of talent coming. Rob Dillingham is shooting at the boards in the draft. So there's a lot of guys they can take a look at. But as far as being businessmen, and Kyle Kuzma, the only reason why they brought him back here is to trade him. That's the only reason why they even brought him back, is to trade him. So you don't want to miss your opportunity. You don't want to miss your window with Kuz. Maybe a trade can happen this offseason. Maybe it can happen next year before the deadline. But, you know, you kind of don't want to miss your opportunity. And then the mandate from Ted Leonsis as well to get a first-round pick back. So they traded Gafford and ended up getting that first-round pick back. But, yeah, there's definitely been some questionable things that they've done so far, but not to the point where I'm down on them and saying that they're doing a bad job. It's nowhere near that. It's way too early. We got to see what these guys do more. And they done some good things, too. Like the Bagley trade was a darn good trade. That was a heck of a trade. I think that was a steal. They've gotten a bunch of second-round picks. It's time to get some first if they can do that. So if you can get a first, jump on that and take advantage of the opportunity. So, but, yeah, as far as like Kuz, we'll see who they get back for him. And then seeing some of these young guys play in development. And so that's going to be huge coming up.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I agree on all points, man. I'm a big believer in this front office, man. I definitely think that there's a great think tank in the front office, man. We have a good front office, so I'm not even close to calling it quits in the front office, man. I have all the faith in the world in them, man. It's just, you know, the biggest thing I hear about why Kuz is here is veteran leadership. It's like you can have veteran leadership that doesn't have to be a number one option. I mean, you know what I mean? Like Denny has shown that he can take that step offensively, so give him the keys to the offense. I mean, you know, with his vision and, you know, and especially when you have Corey, Bilal, you know, Jordan Poole, we have that young foundation, man. You know, whether it's on draft day, whether it's at the deadline, but eventually you're going to have to move him. And I just I don't like personally, I don't like the whole, giving him an option. What are we talking about? Giving him an option. I mean, it's just I never understood that in DC, man. I mean, we've always treated certain players like their royalty, and it's just not that. I mean, Bradley Beal was a big example, man. I mean, we've had so many questionable moves in DC, man, and it's just, I mean, let's not even talk about how many times we missed in the draft. Lord have mercy. I mean, that's a whole novel. How many times we missed in the draft. But I mean, how you signed Gil Arenas after he had knee surgery to a Supermax contract. You know what I mean? It's just the list goes on and things. It's just, Kyle Kuzma, look, I'm a fan of him. I think he's a dope cat personally. I think he's a heck of a player. There's no ill will towards Kyle Kuzma. I love him being a Wizard, man. But you have to be honest with yourself about what the direction is, man. We need a young guy to be the number one option. We don't need a vet to be the number one option. We need these guys to develop. And for Denny to take that next step, he needs to have the ball in the hands. He needs to be the number one option, in my opinion. And then, I know it's weird hearing that because everybody thought that I didn't like Denny. I'm a big believer in Denny, So, but I believe that it's time for him to take the keys to offense. It's time, because you can find veteran leadership as a guy to sit on. I mean, Anthony Gill's a leader. I mean, look, Anthony Gill has been a heck of a leader, and that nobody talks about on the sidelines, man. Look, and like I said, I use Udonis Haslam. He's a perfect example. You don't need to be out there playing to be a veteran leadership in the locker room. I mean, I never understood that excuse, and I think it's kind of whack, because you don't need a guy to be number one option to be a leader. I mean, I don't understand it. I mean, but you know what? It's all good, because you know what? I do believe in this front office. So I guess before we roll, we're gonna get into RJ Hampton and then a brief preview for the Orlando Magic.
Yes, sir. Today's episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Sometimes we all need the opportunity to get something off our chest, big or small. Certain things can really start to get to you. It's important to let that out, especially as someone who's unbiased on your life. So today I want to say how I really feel about something. You might even be thinking about the same thing this week. So it's been a tough week. I mean, working hard, everybody going to work, fighting through traffic, just inflation, everything. So it's a lot going on. So you just want to talk to BetterHelp with all the things going on in the world today, and just, prices of everything going up. It's just insane. And just, working hard, you never know what can happen, and just balancing life things. So everything that you're going through, you always want to have somewhere that you can talk to, and there's always BetterHelp. You can give BetterHelp a call for sure. Therapy can be different for everyone. Most of us have bigger problems than our favorite sports team. I mean, we're going through it right now with the Wizards, so I know you guys watching the Wizards every day, just like us. We definitely need BetterHelp, just like that game last night. Seeing Colin Sexton dunk a lob off the backboard last night. And it's important to get things off your chest every once in a while. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be flexible and suited to your schedule. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. Excuse me.
Yes,
all right,
sir.
and last thing I'll say about Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah.
We do need the other guys to step up and be aggressive, of course. He takes a lot of shots in volume, but other guys have to step up and be aggressive. Denny's starting to get there as far as being aggressive, taking more shots, finishing above the rim or finishing at the rim. Bilal, he's still working. He's a work in progress. Of course, he's a rookie. He's hit that rookie wall. But other guys have to step up. Corey Kisper's had some good games, but does anybody have that instinct or that killer instinct to, get to the basket and score more and just be aggressive? And that's something that I think guys are working on with their mentality. Kuz has it where if there's a shot he doesn't like, he's going to put it up. Jordan Poole, same thing. Denny's starting to be more aggressive as far as taking his shots, being aggressive, getting that way. Bilal still finding his footing in the league. Some games he's been inconsistent and struggled to shoot the ball, struggled with his ball handling and stuff like that. So he's still learning and getting there. Another young guy, Johnny, he's still just trying to be in the league. So that's something right there. So we just don't have a lot of guys that have that mentality, but they have to get the opportunities to get there too. So yeah, it's an ugly process. It's an ugly rebuild. We saw with the Wizards when we rebuilt, when we had John Wall, Andre Blatch was a leading scorer at one point. So I mean, it kind of is similar to Kuz a little bit, where Kuz was the better player than Andre Blatch. And Blatch was a solid player, but I mean, it was ugly days. You know, Nick Young, JaVale McGee, guys joking on the sideline and stuff like that, kind of similar to what we got going on right now with Jordan Poole having some of the shite in a fool moment. So yeah, it's beauty in the struggle. It's an ugly start right now, but we're hoping 2 to 3 years from now we can just look back at this situation and laugh. You know, when John Wall was playing well with Bradley Beal, Gortat, Ariza, Otto Porter, and Markieff Morris, Death Row DC, we look back at those dog days and be like, man, we came a long way. We came a long way, and it was ugly, which it is right now.
Yeah.
And, you know, or Nene as well. I'll include him too. Nene had a couple good years in DC too. So, yeah, it's a process. So, fans, we got to be patient. Excuse me. This is what we asked for. It's not going to look the way that we want it to happen. I know the Sixers, they took a long time. The Atlanta Hawks, it took them a while too. With Trae Young, it took them like 3 years to get where they got, making the playoffs. The Sixers, it took them 3 to 4 years to get to where they got. So, and Will Dawkins said they don't want to take any shortcuts. Him and Michael Winger, they said they don't want to take any shortcuts. They took Bilal, a guy who you really have to develop more than some other players because he's so young. He only played 1 year with the Metropolitan team. So yeah, it's gonna be a long rebuild. It's ugly right now. It really is. It's really ugly because we don't have we have some young guys to build around, but we don't have a lot. Like you look at the Thunder, they have Chet, they have Shea, they have Lu Dort, Aaron Wiggins, Giddey. So we got to get to that point, and it took them a while too. So it's a little ugly right now. Where Kuz is the number 1 guy, Jordan Poole's the number 2 guy. It's not ideal, but it's just how rebuilds start off.
Yeah, I agree, man, and I get that. You know, rebuilds do take time. And I'm I've said it time and time and again, man. You know, I'm got my seatbelt on and I'm ready to roll. And like I said, the failures of the season are not solely on Kyle Kuzma. Not at all. I mean, this is a team effort if there ever was one. You know, this is, it's not on him, not the least bit. But where a lot of this is coming from is where people are trying to say that he's a star or he's the guy we need to build around. We are seeing the evidence of what happens when we build around him. We're 9-52. Like, no, I mean, look, you want this rebuild to get going? Okay, fair enough. All right, go get a coach. Go get a legit coach who has got playoff experience, who is a disciplinarian, who's going to hold his team to a standard. And why are you people laughing? Why are people joking? I mean, we got on Bradley Beal last year about that, giggling and all that with Jason Tatum. What are people happy about? I mean, there was a time in sports, man, where people took it personally when you were trash. Like people didn't, you weren't smiling and giggling. People were laughing. What are you laughing about, man? You're 9-52. You went out in the media and you said, "Oh, don't be that team." Now we are the worst team in the NBA. We are that team. So I mean, it's just enough's enough. Look, we need young talent, yeah. But I mean, OKC outside of the year with Chris Paul, how did they develop? They played them. SGA was raw coming over from the Clippers, man. They played them. It's not, people talk about leadership and about, having a leadership in front of young guys. No, you play them. That's the whole point of development. How do you get better? The more you play, the more you get muscle memory, the more you develop the right way to play. That's how you develop. Nobody's developed sitting on the bench. I mean, I never understood that. The whole veteran thing. You can get veterans to sit on the bench. We have Anthony Gill. I mean, you don't need a guy who's going to be a number 1 option for a team that is a sinking ship. We're 9-52. The direction is right on, but that's really is not any doing of the front office. We're just trash. I mean, it's not like we're just bad. We're historically bad. Because I'm gonna tell you what, where are we at? 15 straight losses. So if we lose,
almost ever.
Yeah. Oh, well, I think what is it? I think the streak is straight losses, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we lose to Orlando, we will hit our franchise mark for the longest losing streak. Now, so you could potentially looking at Friday night setting a whole new record, man. So, I get a rebuild, I really do. But, when this is kind of going to everybody calling Kyle Kuzma a star and all this, man. It's like, no, man, come on, man. Check their cup. He's not a star. He's not even close to being a star, man. I mean, he's a really good basketball player. I would not take that away from him. I'm a fan of him. I got 2 jerseys in the closet, man, and I don't wear jerseys or scrubs, man, because I got nothing but John Wall in there, and I've got legit guys in my closet. That is the you know what I'm saying? So I like Kyle Kuzma as a player, but he ain't a number one option, and he's not a franchise guy that you can build around, man. So we have to be realistic with this, man. We really have to do it. And, head coach hitting through the draft, and then let's get this thing started. But I've seen enough with him being the number one option. I'm ready to move on, So,
and then I guess we'll finally get to RJ Hampton. RJ Hampton, he played really well in the G League. He's a guy that I do think deserves some playing time. He's had an up and down career so far. He was waived. We talked about that earlier, where his career hasn't really he hasn't hit his full potential, or he hasn't really found he hasn't really hit his stride yet. I'll say that.
Yeah.
He was waived earlier. He has struggled in some summer leagues here and there as well. But if he comes here, I think he deserves an opportunity that may come at the expense or, the demise a little bit of Johnny Davis getting playing time. Same thing with Julian Champagne, him getting playing time. Jared Butler doesn't really affect Johnny Davis's playing time, in my opinion, but, those are some guys, Champagne, RJ Hampton. I think they need to call up Hamidou Diallo. He's super athletic. I think he needs to play. So it's going to be tougher and tougher for Johnny. I mean, Isaiah Livers is out now. That's a guy I thought they were going to play a little bit. But, playing some of these young guys, it may cut into Johnny Davis's playing. He's not like he's getting a lot of playing time right now anyway. But if they bring in RJ Hampton, I do think that's a guy who may eat away from Johnny Davis's minutes. And Johnny's got to earn it, so I'm not going to make any excuses. Johnny's got to earn it. I always say that he needs to play to get better. There's no way he's going to get better without playing. But at the same time, he's got to earn minutes too.
Oh, absolutely. That should be the MO for the whole team, man. If you're given minutes, you got to perform, man. If you look at the last game for Corey Kispert, he only had 16 minutes. You can argue that, he's definitely deserving more, man, but shooting 2 for 9, you got to capitalize when you get the opportunity, man. So Johnny Davis just says, 7 minutes played last game, man. So, he had a nice 3. I'll give him that, man. But, how bad is it that we're celebrating the 3-point shot, man? But, it's just – and that's another thing to kind of look at, the whole Landry Shamet, why he wouldn't move. But, we'll go ahead and move on from that. But, I'm with you. RJ Hampton, he definitely deserves a shot, man, because he can play some ball, man. He's had his hiccups. But, Marvin Bagley III is a perfect example why, finding the right system in the right situation, you can definitely revitalize your career. And if you could say one thing about the Capital City Go-Go and the Washington Wizards, as far as the depth of young talent they do have, they will help resurrect career. Look, we saw him last night, Chris Dunn, man, look, he had 1 year with the Go-Go and he revitalized his career and he looked pretty good. So, they're doing a good job at Capital City Go-Go. And, like you said, they're definitely doing a good job as far as the front office accumulating draft capital. And I have no complaints. And like you said, I'm not mad at the front office at all. Getting back to RJ Hampton, he definitely needs a chance. So I guess we'll finally get to the Orlando Magic preview for tomorrow's night's game. So, looking at Orlando, what matchups are you looking forward to tomorrow night?
That's a good question. Paolo, of course. This is a good one. Jalen Suggs too. He was a good guy to look at because I know Johnny Davis was compared to Jalen Suggs. That was like his comparison coming out. And Cole Anthony, Mo Wagner, of course, former Wizard. But the Magic, they talk a lot of trash, man. Jalen Suggs, he had a good game against the Wizards last time. They talk a lot of trash. This is the team that laughed at Johnny as well when Johnny missed a shot off the backboard. That was Joe Ingles who did that. Right now, the Magic, they're beating the Hornets 75-66. The Magic, they're 35-26. They're going to make the playoffs this year. But to answer your question, I would say Paolo. And is it going to be Denny guarding Paolo Banchero? Is he going to be guarding him? Is it going to be Bilal versus Banchero? There's so many players to look at. Franz Wagner, too. He's a guy that really kicks the Wizards' butts or has a good game against the Wizards all the time. So there's so many ways to look at it, but I would say Denny versus Paolo, or really even Kuz versus Paolo.
Yeah.
Who's going to be defending him and who's going to be able to defend him. I mean, nobody's going to stop him on his roster. It's just not going to happen. But how do they match him against Paolo?
Yeah, I agree. Looking at Kuz's size, I definitely think he matches up well against Paolo. I'm with you, E. I think it's gonna be real interesting to see who guards who, because you know, on one hand, you definitely want to see Denny Pye guard Paolo, but Franz Wagner, he's 6'10" too. So I mean, you got two guys at 6'10", man, who they're legit. They are guys who can play some ball, man. They can score, they can put the ball on the floor, they can work in the paint. And looking at Franz Wagner, man, 6'10", two-way guy who's a sniper. That's an assignment that's gonna be hard, man. So I mean, based on perimeter defense, I'm gonna put Denny on Franz, and I'm gonna let Kuz cook on Paolo. But another matchup I'm looking at is Wendell Carter versus Marvin Bagley III. That's gonna definitely be a match I'm looking for. I definitely want to see Marvin Bagley III win the battle of the rebound. But looking at their array of point guards, man, because I know that Markelle Fultz is day-to-day now, so we're gonna see if he's playing. But Jalen Suggs, Cole Anthony, they're a couple of scrappy guards, man. So you want to see how does Tyus try to defend them, and looking at Bilal, who's his best matchup as far as defense. So I think this is a good game as far as matching young talent versus young talent, because the Orlando Magic is definitely a team that we want to be in the future, and they're a young, scrappy team. Like I said, they talk a lot of junk, man, but I mean they've earned that right. They're a young team on the rise. So I mean, it's one of those things, man. If you want people to stop talking, you got to step up. So Orlando, you can be annoying talking that junk, man, but look, they're a young team on the rise. So so I'm with you. So tomorrow night, let's see. I just had it. So I believe, give me a second, E. I had the time right here, man. I lost, man. What's up?
The start of the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it starts at 7.
7 o'clock. All right. So the Washington Wizards
back in the East Coast.
Oh, finally, man. That West Coast trip, man. So everybody show your support for the Washington Wizards, man. Let's try to break the streak. Let's try to get some good news flowing, man. Let's try to get some good vibes flowing, man. We're finally back home. So 7 o'clock at home against the Orlando Magic will show up. Let's try to watch them and get that dub, man. So definitely, as usual, appreciate you guys, man. Definitely appreciate you guys taking your time to watch us and listen to us every single day. So definitely rock with us tomorrow night for the live recap of the Orlando Magic game, which is hopefully a dub. So again, appreciate you guys. Hail to the Wizards and peace. See you guys tomorrow night.